The cold morning air bit into Emily Hartley's cheeks as she hurried down the empty street. Her worn-out shoes clicked against the pavement, each step a reminder of her daily struggle. At 28, life had not been kind to her. A single mother with a young son, Emily carried the weight of survival on her shoulders. Thomas, her 6-year-old boy, slept peacefully at her mother's small apartment. Emily had dropped him off early, before the first rays of sunlight touched the industrial town of Manchester. She worked 2 jobs, morning shifts at the local bakery and night cleaning at the business centre, just to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. Her husband, James, had died 2 years ago in a workplace accident. One moment of machinery malfunction had stolen away her partner, her support, her dream of a perfect family. The compensation was minimal, and the grief was overwhelming. But Emily refused to let tragedy define her life. As she arrived at the bakery, Mrs. Thompson, the owner, greeted her with a tired smile. "Morning, Emily," she said, handing her an apron. The small bakery was warm, filled with the sweet smell of fresh bread and pastries. Emily tied her hair back, revealing tired but determined eyes. Hours passed quickly. She kneaded dough, prepared sandwiches, served customers with a professional smile. Nobody knew the challenges hidden behind her cheerful exterior. Each penny she earned was a battle won. Each hour worked a step towards a better future for Thomas. During her lunch break, Emily pulled out a worn notebook. Inside were careful calculations: rent, food, Thomas's school expenses. Her fingers traced the numbers, searching for ways to stretch their limited income. A letter from the landlord sat in her bag, a silent threat of potential eviction if she missed another rent payment. The afternoon flew by and soon she was changing into her cleaning uniform. The business center was quiet, with only the hum of computers and occasional night security guards. Emily moved methodically, cleaning each office with precision. Her mind constantly drifted to Thomas, his upcoming school project, his dream of becoming a firefighter. As midnight approached, exhaustion crept into her bones, but she couldn't stop. She thought about her promise to James, to give Thomas every opportunity they never had: education, stability, hope. These were the gifts she wanted to give her son. When she finally returned to her mother's apartment, Thomas was still asleep. Emily gently kissed his forehead, watching his peaceful face. In that moment, all her struggles seemed insignificant. He was her reason, her motivation, her entire world. Her mother, Margaret, waited in the kitchen. "You're working too hard," she said, pushing a cup of tea towards Emily. But Emily knew hard work was her only path forward. The family had never been wealthy, but they had always been proud and resilient. That night, as she prepared Thomas's lunch for the next day and ironed his school uniform, Emily discovered the eviction notice. Her hands trembled, the words blurred. But the message was clear. They might lose their home soon. For a moment, fear threatened to overwhelm her. But then she looked at Thomas's school photo on the wall. His bright smile, his hopeful eyes, they were her strength. She wouldn't let fear defeat her. "We'll find a way," Emily whispered to herself, her voice steady and determined. She had faced worse challenges. Poverty, grief, exhaustion, none of these could break her spirit. As dawn approached, Emily made a plan. She would speak to her employers about extra hours. She would look for additional part-time work. She would fight for her son's future with every ounce of her being. Thomas stirred in his sleep, mumbling something about firefighters and adventures. Emily smiled. Her little boy represented hope, potential, a future full of possibilities. No matter how difficult the road, she would walk it with love, courage, and unwavering determination. The first light of day crept through the window, marking the beginning of another challenging day. But for Emily Hartley, it was also a day of possibility, of potential, of hope. The end Robert Williams watched Emily from across the classroom during the parent-teacher meeting. Something about her caught his attention. Not just her obvious exhaustion, but the fierce determination in her eyes. As a local school teacher with 15 years of experience, he had seen many parents, but Emily was different. Thomas, her son, was a bright student with potential. However, Robert noticed the little signs of struggle: slightly worn-out shoes, a patched school bag, the way Thomas sometimes seemed tired during morning classes. He understood that behind every child's performance was a story of family challenge. After the meeting, Robert approached Emily. "Thomas is an exceptional student," he said warmly. Emily looked surprised, her guard slightly raised. Years of hardship had taught her to be cautious of unexpected kindness. "He works hard," Emily responded, her voice carrying a mix of pride and concern. Robert noticed how she shifted her weight, clearly tired from working multiple jobs. Her hands, rough from cleaning and baking, told a story of continuous struggle. Over the next few weeks, Robert began offering Thomas additional support. He arranged extra tutoring sessions after school, ensuring the boy didn't fall behind, despite his mother's challenging circumstances. Thomas was eager to learn, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. One cold morning, Robert learned more about Emily's situation. A conversation with the school administrator revealed her constant battle with financial challenges. She was working 2 jobs, studying part-time and still managing to care for her son. The local community center became Robert's first point of action. He spoke with the director about job training programs, scholarship opportunities, and support networks for single parents. He believed in creating pathways, not just offering temporary solutions. Emily was initially hesitant when Robert discussed these opportunities. Years of disappointment had made her skeptical. "I don't need charity," she said firmly during one conversation. Robert understood her pride and respected it. A local church group heard about Emily's situation through Robert. They began providing subtle support: winter clothes for Thomas, food vouchers, and occasional childcare support. These small acts weren't charity, but community care. Thomas started showing improvements at school. His confidence grew, partly due to the additional support and partly because of his mother's incredible resilience. Robert noticed how the boy looked up to Emily, seeing her as a true hero. The bakery owner, Mrs. Thompson, also played a crucial role. After learning about Emily's situation through Robert, she offered her more working hours and flexible scheduling. These small interventions began creating a network of support around Emily. Robert's approach was gentle and strategic. He didn't want to make Emily feel pitied or weak. Instead, he saw an opportunity to help someone rebuild their life through education and community support. Every conversation, every small intervention was designed to empower, not rescue. One evening, while discussing Thomas's academic progress, Emily's walls began to soften. She shared stories about her late husband, her dreams, her constant struggle to provide a better life for her son. Robert listened, offering understanding rather than advice. The community started seeing Emily differently. She wasn't just a struggling single mother, but a symbol of resilience. Her determination inspired others. Local businesses began offering her small opportunities, recognizing her potential. Thomas watched these changes. He saw his mother transforming, gaining confidence, fighting against all odds. The boy's admiration for Emily grew with each passing day. He understood that real heroes weren't just in storybooks, but sitting right beside him. Robert's intervention was never about solving Emily's problems completely. It was about creating opportunities, building confidence, and showing that community support could make a significant difference. He believed in the power of small, consistent acts of kindness. As winter turned to spring, Emily began to see a glimmer of hope. The support network Robert had quietly built around her started showing results. Opportunities that seemed impossible a few months ago now looked achievable. Her journey was far from over. Challenges would continue to come. But now, Emily wasn't facing them alone. She had a community, a support system, and most importantly, belief in her own potential. Thomas watched his mother, seeing her transform from a person constantly struggling to someone building a future. And in that transformation, he found his own inspiration. The end. The evening classes were Emily's battlefield. After long days of work, she would arrive at the community college, her mind tired, but her spirit determined. The classroom became her sanctuary, a place where she could imagine a different future for herself and Thomas. Robert Williams continued to support her journey. He helped her prepare for each class, offering guidance during lunch breaks and after school hours. "You're doing something remarkable," he would tell her, seeing the spark of determination in her eyes. Thomas watched his mother's transformation with growing admiration. He saw her studying late into the night, books spread across the kitchen table, her fingers tracing lines of text with intense concentration. Some nights, he would quietly bring her a cup of tea, understanding the magnitude of her efforts. The scholarship application became Emily's beacon of hope. It represented more than just financial support. It was a ticket to a better life. Robert helped her draft her application, carefully highlighting her journey, her challenges, and her unwavering commitment to education. Long nights became her routine. After cleaning offices and working at the bakery, Emily would sit at the small kitchen table. Thomas would be asleep and the apartment would be silent except for the scratching of her pen and the turning of book pages. She studied administrative management, dreaming of a stable office job that could provide security for her son. Her mother, Margaret, became her silent support system. She would watch Thomas, ensuring he was fed and cared for during Emily's evening classes. "Your mother is fighting for our future," she would tell Thomas, helping him understand the importance of education. The application process was challenging. Emily had to write about her life, exposing her vulnerabilities and strengths. Robert helped her find the right words, teaching her how to transform her struggles into a powerful narrative of resilience. Thomas became her unexpected study partner. Though young, he understood the importance of education. He would quiz her during breakfast, helping her remember key points. "Mum," he would say, "you're going to be the smartest person ever." The community began to notice Emily's transformation. Mrs. Thompson at the bakery gave her more flexible hours. The cleaning company appreciated her commitment and offered her better shifts. Small victories began to add up. Winter turned to spring, and the scholarship application deadline approached. Emily's hands would shake every time she thought about the potential outcome. Robert reminded her that regardless of the result, she had already achieved something remarkable. The night before the final submission, Emily and Thomas celebrated. They couldn't afford much, but they bought a small cake from the bakery. "This is for trying," Emily told her son, understanding that the journey was more important than the destination. Robert helped her review the final application. Each word was carefully chosen, each sentence a testament to her journey. They worked late into the night, ensuring every detail was perfect. Thomas watched the process with quiet understanding. He saw his mother transforming before his eyes, from a woman constantly struggling to someone building her future. His admiration grew with each passing day. The local community center became Emily's additional support system. They offered free computer classes, helping her improve her digital skills. Every small skill learned was a step towards her goal. Margaret, Emily's mother, provided emotional support. "Your father would be proud," she would say, remembering how they had always valued education. These words gave Emily additional strength. The day the scholarship results were announced became a turning point. Emily checked her email with trembling hands, Thomas standing beside her. The screen loaded slowly, each second feeling like an eternity. When the acceptance letter appeared, the room fell silent. Then, unexpectedly, Thomas jumped with joy. "You did it, Mum!" he shouted, hugging her tightly. Tears mixed with laughter. Years of struggle condensed into this single moment of triumph. Emily's acceptance wasn't just a personal victory. It was a message to Thomas, to her community, to every single parent struggling to create a better life. It proved that with determination, support and hard work, barriers could be broken. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in years, Emily could see a clear path forward, a path of hope, opportunity, and possibility. The end. The scholarship changed everything for Emily Hartley. Her professional training program in administrative management opened doors she never thought possible. The first day she walked into the modern office for her orientation, she felt like a different person, confident, prepared, hopeful. Thomas watched his mother's transformation with wide-eyed wonder. At 8 years old, he understood more than most children about struggle and triumph. Each morning, He would help her prepare, ironing her new work clothes with a seriousness that made Emily's heart swell with pride. Margaret, Emily's mother, became Thomas's primary caregiver during her daughter's intense study period. The small apartment buzzed with a new energy, textbooks scattered on tables, practice documents, and the sound of Emily's determined typing late into the night. Robert. Williams continued to be their silent guardian. He helped Thomas with homework, ensured the boy stayed on track at school, and provided emotional support to the entire family. His involvement went beyond simple teaching. He had become a true friend. The professional training was challenging. Emily juggled her studies with part-time work, ensuring they could still pay their bills. Some nights, she would fall asleep at the kitchen table surrounded by study materials and half-completed assignments. Thomas became her biggest supporter. He learned to be more independent, helping around the apartment and understanding the importance of his mother's education. "Mom's going to be a boss," he would tell his friends proudly, his chest puffed out with excitement. The local community watched Emily's journey with admiration. Mrs. Thompson from the bakery, the cleaning company managers, and other local business owners began to see her as an inspiration. Her story spread quietly, a testament to hard work and determination. Financial challenges remained, but they seemed more manageable now. The scholarship provided some support, and Emily's part-time work filled the gaps. Each month became a little easier, each bill a little less frightening. One particular evening changed everything. Emily received an unexpected call from a local business looking for administrative staff. Her training, combined with her years of hard work, had caught someone's attention. The job interview was different from anything Emily had experienced before. She walked in with confidence, her years of struggle giving her a strength that impressed the hiring managers. Thomas had helped her prepare, practicing interview questions the night before. "Tell me about a time you overcame a challenge," the interviewer asked. Emily spoke about her journey, working 2 jobs, studying, raising Thomas. Her story was raw, honest, and powerful. The room fell silent, impressed by her resilience. Thomas's school performance improved alongside his mother's journey. Robert noticed the boy's increased confidence, his improved focus, his understanding of the importance of education. The young boy was learning life lessons most adults never understand. Margaret watched her daughter with tears in her eyes. The woman who had struggled for years was now transforming into a professional, a role model for her son. "Your father would be so proud," she would tell Emily, remembering her late husband's dreams for the family. The apartment began to change. New furniture slowly replaced the old worn-out pieces. Thomas got a small desk for studying, a symbol of the family's growing stability. Each small improvement was a victory, a testament to their journey. Community support continued to play a crucial role. The local church group, the community center, Robert's continued guidance, all became pillars of support for Emily and Thomas. As the year progressed, Emily's confidence grew. She was no longer just surviving, she was building a life. Her son watched her transformation, learning valuable lessons about perseverance, education, and hope. The job offer came on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. A full-time administrative position with benefits, a stable salary, and potential for growth. Emily's hands shook as she read the offer letter, realizing how far she had come. Thomas celebrated by making a special dinner. Burnt toast and slightly overcooked eggs, but made with so much love that Emily couldn't help but cry. "We did it, Mom," he said, hugging her tightly. Their journey was far from over. But for the first time in years, the future looked bright. Emily had not just survived, she had transformed, and Thomas had learned the most important lesson of all, that with determination, love, and support, anything is possible. The end-done year had passed since Emily's life-changing transformation. The small apartment they once struggled in now felt like a home of possibilities. Sunlight streamed through clean windows, illuminating a space filled with hope and determination. Thomas, now 9 years old, had become a different boy. His confidence radiated from every movement. School reports showed remarkable improvement, not just in grades, but in his entire approach to learning. Robert Williams, their constant supporter, often remarked how much the young boy had grown. Emily's new job as an administrative assistant at a local business firm had changed everything. Her monthly salary meant stability, something they had never experienced before. The worn-out shoes and patched clothes were replaced with neat, professional attire. But more importantly, her spirit had transformed. The family celebrated small victories. Every month they would sit together and plan. Thomas would help his mother create a budget, learning valuable life skills. Margaret, Emily's mother, watched with pride, seeing her daughter become a role model for her son. Their small apartment now had a study corner. Bookshelves replaced empty walls, filled with books Emily and Thomas collected together. Each book represented a dream, a possibility, a future waiting to be explored. Robert continued to be their guardian angel. He would visit occasionally, bringing small gifts for Thomas and sharing stories of hope. The local community had watched Emily's journey, finding inspiration in her persistence. Thomas's school performance became exceptional. His teachers noticed not just his academic improvements, but his mature understanding of life's challenges. He spoke about his mother's journey with such pride that it touched everyone around him. Weekend mornings became special family times. Emily would cook breakfast, and they would discuss their dreams. Thomas talked about becoming a teacher like Robert, wanting to help others the way his mother had been helped. The bakery where Emily once worked became a symbol of her journey. Mrs. Thompson, the owner, would proudly tell customers about Emily's transformation. "She's proof that hard work changes everything," she would say, her eyes gleaming with respect. Financial stability brought new opportunities. Emily started a small savings account for Thomas's future education. Each deposit was a promise, a commitment to provide opportunities she never had. Community support continued to play a crucial role. The local church group, the community center, and Robert's guidance remained pillars of strength. They had become more than support. They were family. Thomas learned valuable life lessons. He understood that education was a powerful tool, that kindness could change lives, and that family was about supporting each other through challenges. Emily's journey inspired others. Single mothers in the community began seeing her as a beacon of hope. Her story spread quietly, a testament to resilience and determination. One evening, as they sat together, Thomas asked about his father. Emily spoke honestly, sharing memories, explaining how love and determination could overcome any challenge. Her words were a gift, teaching her son about strength, hope, and moving forward. Margaret watched her daughter and grandson, seeing the legacy of resilience continuing. The struggles they had faced had not broken them. They had made them stronger. The local community center invited Emily to share her story. She spoke about her journey, the challenges, the support, the transformation. Her words touched everyone, showing that hope could be found in the most difficult circumstances. Robert attended the event, watching with pride. He had been more than a teacher. He had been a catalyst for change. Seeing Emily and Thomas's transformation was his greatest reward. Thomas stood beside his mother during her speech, holding her hand. His eyes reflected pride, love, and understanding beyond his years. He was not just a son, he was a partner in their journey. As the year came to a close, Emily reflected on their journey. The constant struggles, the sleepless nights, the moments of doubt, all had led to this point of hope and possibility. Their story was not just about survival, it was about transformation, about finding strength in unexpected places, about the power of education, community, and unwavering love. Thomas hugged his mother tight. "We did it, Mom," he whispered. And in that moment, they both knew that their journey was far from over. It was just beginning. The end.